Right, so UFC 313 wrapped up, and I'm going to give you my recap and breakdown of the entire card. We're going to start with the main event, go all the way down to the early prelim. And by the way, the early prelim was the best fight on the card. I get Pereira and, not Pereira, because that fight fucking sucked balls. I get Fiziev and Gaethje had an absolute great fight. But I honestly think the best fight of the night was the first fight. But we'll get to that. What the fuck happened in the main event? Before I get to that, dude, obviously we're not happy with the results of the fight. I don't think it was a robbery. I went 7-3 on the card, bringing my overall record to 58-35. So again, I'm cooking on these cards, 70% win rate here. But the fuck, dude. First of all, this isn't a robbery. People are complaining it's like a total, utter robbery. It was so clear. I don't think it was clear to Pereira. Think Ankh won 2, 3, and 4. Think Pereira won 1 and 2. And it comes down to round 3. How do you score that? And everyone's going to go, the numbers, look at the numbers, look at the number. Dude, like, the thing is, the numbers are skewed because Pereira's landing low kicks, and I honestly think they were tallying more numbers towards Pereira than were actually landing. I think Pereira did a great job in the first round with the low kicks. But it was like the story of this fight was Ankalaev putting the pressure on, barely throwing, but Pereira also not throwing. Like, Pereira's usually the guy that goes in there, and he's the one that makes his opponent scared because of the crazy power in his hands, and he beats up the legs, and then he walks you down and throws the big hook. When he sticks you with the jab, it hurts really bad. He hits you with the hook, you go out. He has the touch of death. You must fear him. Ankh didn't fear him at all. So kudos for him not fearing him at all. I just think Ankh doesn't have the brain power or brain capacity to actually know what fear is. But Pereira just wasn't like... He didn't fight like Pereira last night. He fought gun-shy all night. I don't like him getting on the mic after and saying, oh, it's just holding against the cage. Which, yes, it is. Like, Ankh is being such a bitch holding him against the cage. Such a stupid way to win a fight. But it's not like when they were separated, Pereira was actually throwing. He landed 11 shots to the head. 11 punches to the head. I'm sorry, that's shots to the head because he wasn't landing 11 punches to the head. 2 or 3 of those were head kicks. And those head kicks look sick, but Ankh was just like, he had no fear for Pereira. He just went in there, walked him down the whole time and said, I'm going to throw big punches at times. Not a lot. It's not like he threw a lot. He was going to throw big punches at times. He did a good job of throwing shots to the body. And then Pereira would just like walk him down, do nothing with it. Walk him down, do nothing with it. Back up, not throw a counter hook. I'm like, Pereira usually does such a good job at countering. And he just like wouldn't do that in this fight. He wouldn't throw a straight 2 down the middle and follow up with a left hook. He wouldn't feint, get Ankalaev to react and then throw a hook. He would feint. And there were actually times where Ankalaev would get a reaction, but Pereira wouldn't follow up on the reaction. He would set up a good, he would like get his setups going where he would feint, get a reaction, just wouldn't follow up with the left hook. That's where the next combination comes in. All right, so you're going to do the same thing, and this time you follow up. You know what his reaction is going to be. And Pereira just didn't do it. There were times in the first round he was clearly, it looked like in the first round he was trying to figure out Ankalaev. He's like, all right, what are the reads? Just beat up the leg here. I'm going to be able to beat up the leg. And he did hit the leg a lot in the first round. A couple of really good kicks. Ankalaev also landed a couple really good kicks. But then Ankh, in the end of the first round, was able to start throwing the hands. Shoots a takedown, doesn't get it. Also, one thing I want to say is, Pereira's takedown defense was 1 of 1. It was incredible. Looked like Jose Aldo out there. Could not get taken down. But he also couldn't get off the cage in moments. Now, there were times at the end of rounds where, I think it was the end of round 4, where he was getting held against the cage the whole time. And he just tripped Ankalaev right at the end of round and threw him to the ground. That was kind of sick. But he goes out there in the next round and just like starts walking him down, but is too afraid to throw. This whole story is, I don't know what was wrong with Pereira, dude. I don't want to sit here and make excuses. I don't know if there was, I don't think there was any injuries. I really don't know what Pereira was doing all fight. Like, obviously I wanted Pereira to win. He's one of the most fun champions. He's a favorite fighter of a lot of fans, including myself, but like, one of my favorites, obviously. We'll talk about Justin Gaethje in a minute. But I just, I don't get what this was, dude. This was so frustrating to watch because you'd sit there and you'd be like, Pereira, throw your hands. You have the touch of death. Throw your fucking hands. In this whole fight, he was gun shy, not throwing his hands. Round 1, he wins based off of the low kicks being the most damaging part of the round, and Ankh really not throwing too much. Round 2, Ankh wins clearly. He's throwing the jab, straight left to the body, and then at the end of round 2, he actually hurts Pereira bad with a straight left hand. And you're going, oh shit, it's 1-1 going into 3. Round 3, Pereira has a little bit of a better round than originally thought. Commentary was just all over the place tonight. I will say that. All over the fucking place. Round 3, like, Ankalaev and Pereira, like, they're sitting there and they're staring at each other, and they were pretty close on strikes. Like, Pereira had the number of strikes, I guess, up because of a couple low kicks, but they weren't, in round 3, they weren't the best low kicks. He had a couple of really good ones, but he also had a couple that weren't great, and they were kind of just tallying up the numbers. Ankalaev would land some good low kicks, land a couple of shots himself, looked like he threw it with more power. There was just a lot of time in that third round where it was both guys staring at each other, but it was Pereira running and Ankalaev running him down. And I think that's why Ankalaev wins round 3, and I think that's why he won it on the judges' scorecards too, is it, like, most of the round while no one was doing anything, it was Pereira that looked like he was running away. He looked like he was running away instead of, Pereira's usually a guy that sits there and he stands forward and he goes, you're going to make a mistake, I'm going to hit you, and then you're going to be, wobbled and rocked, and then I'm going to hunt you down. Or if he doesn't have respect for it, like with Hill, he walked downhill the whole time. He was walking down Roundtree the whole time. With Yuri, he played a little bit more of the counter game because he knows Yuri's a little bit more wild and he can find those counters, and he did. I don't know. With Adesanya, he was hunting him down. I just don't know what the fuck this was. Like, I thought in round 5 we were going to see round 5 Pereira versus Izzy, where he just hunts him down and he starts letting the hands go like crazy. And he started hunting Ankalaev down, because round 4 he got held up against the cage the whole time. That was fucking gay as fuck. That sucked to watch, dude. Gay bullshit. Fucking ESPN-ass bitch. ESPN also not letting you buy the pay-per-view. You leave no one a choice but to stream. You couldn't buy the fucking pay-per-view for half the time. But, dude, I was so angry at this fight. Like, I'm mad at Ankalaev for being a fucking loser inbred fuck. Absolutely gay clinch holding, annoying dude. I hate how that's an avenue to win a round from a fight. Hate how that can be a path to victory, because he failed on all of his takedowns. He looked like he was just having moments where he was trying to stall out Pereira against the cage because he knew it was winning, which is fucking stupid. But then Pereira would get his separation and not do anything with it. He did nothing with the separation that he was getting. It was so annoying. You see Pereira usually supposed to be the guy that hunts you down. Jab, it stuck on him. 2, 3, big left hook. And Pereira's doing a good job of throwing the high kicks. He did throw a sick combination where he went low kick and then high kick up top in the 5th round. You're like, oh, that's a good one. He stuck Pereira with a jab, or he stuck Ankalaev with a jab while he was backing up. That's good. Now go forward. And he wouldn't. So frustrating to watch the whole time. That shit sucked, man. That shit really fucking sucked to watch. Ankalaev won. I had him winning 48-47, winning rounds 2, 3, and 4. Fuck that, dude. That sucked to watch, man. That really did suck to watch. Now we have a fucking inactive champ. You know Ankalaev's going to fight only on the Abu Dhabi card. He's going to fight again in October. I think they should... Now, here's the tricky part is, like, Pereira deserves a rematch, yeah. But do you want to even see it? I honestly think Yuri puts on a way better performance against Magomed Ankalaev. It's going to be a more fun fight, and I think he has a better chance to beat Ank at this point. Because he's actually going to fucking throw hands. That's what I'm saying, like... If it was Yuri in there, if it was Jamal Hill in there, if it was Khalil Roundtree in there, they actually might not be able to stuff all those takedowns of Ankh, but they would not have absolutely done... Like, I did not picture Alex Pereira for the guy to be scared of anyone, but he went in there and he looked like he was intimidated to me. He just didn't leave it all out there, and that's what I wanted to see, and it's like, dude, I get it. When you're in the fight, it's so much different. I get that. But you got everyone chanting Shama. The whole crowd's behind you. I get it sucks to get hit like that, but at some point, like, I kind of wanted to see him go out on a shield. Go leave it all out there. Make it so that way in round 5 you can go, holy fuck, he really put it on Ankalaev. We want to see the rematch. Because after that fight, everyone's like, dude, Pereira's going to get a rematch. That fight fucking sucked, though, so it's going to be another shit fight. It's not... Ankalaev versus Pereira 2 doesn't sell. It really doesn't. Pereira's stock went down a ton. His aura went down 1,000 points with this fight. And Ank's aura didn't go up either. This was the worst possible thing to happen for the light heavyweight division. We have a boring champ who's low output, powerful, but has low output, boring style. He's inactive. He's not a seller. Like, you can't sell fights with this guy based off of how fun he is in the cage, but he doesn't yap either. He doesn't speak English, and neither does Pereira. But Pereira, like, you can sell based off his fight style. You can also sell because, like, he can sell himself. He has the fans behind him. He is the simple Shama chant. What's Ankalaev going to do to get fans interested in him? Literally nothing. He does nothing. He's boring. He's annoying to watch, ugly to look at. I honestly think maybe Pereira couldn't get going because Ankalaev smelled so bad and he looked so ugly. I don't fucking know, but this shit was so annoying to watch, bro. I expected so much more from Pereira. And good on Ank. Like, he won the fight. He did what he had to do to win the fight. He won the title. Dana White was pissed wrapping it around him, was pissed when he read the scorecards, but he won. Just sucked to watch, dude. How am I supposed to get excited for a light heavyweight fight now? But Ankalaev's so good, dude. You don't just appreciate the technique. Bro, I want more output, though. I want knockouts. I want violence. I don't want you stalking a guy down, throwing 5 strikes around, and then shooting and holding against the cage. The fight against Rakic sucked. The fight against Johnny Walker sucked until the knockout. The fight against Pereira sucked. The first fight against Johnny Walker was going to suck if Johnny Walker didn't almost land a fucking crazy flying knee, and then you got a DQ. Fight against Blachowicz sucked. All the fights this guy gets in fucking sucks. Dude, this is so annoying, dude. Ugh, light heavyweight's doomed, man. Pereira versus Ank is going to be a rematch, probably, and I honestly think Ank's probably going to just do the same fucking thing. Unless Pereira finally goes in there and goes, yeah, I'm just going to bite down on the mouthpiece and throw, because that's what he should have done. But we're going to move on to something a little more positive. Justin Gaethje gets it done against Rafael Fiziev. It was a good fight. It was a really good fight. The way that people are talking about it, like, dude, it's a war of all wars, insane, one of the best fights ever. I can name 5 Justin Gaethje fights off the top of my head that were better than this, though. I'm going to be honest. The first Fiziev fight, the first Poirier fight, the Max Holloway fight. Even though the Max Holloway fight is a little overrated, it was still better than this, I honestly believe. The Chandler fight, the second Poirier fight, the Eddie fight. Like, there's a lot of fights that I thought he had that were just better than this. But this was one of his better performances, I will say. This guy, Rufus as they call him, this guy don't go down. I mean, Max put him out after a bunch of accumulation of damage, and you'd think, like, the chin's never going to be the same after something like that, man. Round 1, Fiziev somehow gets 2 takedowns. Almost has an inverted triangle. Doesn't have the ability to really lash that up. Gaethje gets out. Gaethje is a white belt in jiu-jitsu, but, like, he's a fucking black belt, triple striped in toughness. I'll say that. And fucking heart. This guy's got heart. And Fiziev's getting the better of the exchanges in round 1. Now, my stream started to lag a little bit, but Fiziev was doing a great job of throwing the body kicks. I think he broke his toe in that first round, though. He wins round 1. Round 2, Gaethje's figured him out. Every time that kick would come to the body, Fiziev would dip, and I'm like, dude, Fiziev's got to throw that a little bit higher. He's going to catch the chin of Gaethje, but, like, Fiziev just couldn't do that. He did have moments where he was able to land high kicks, but then they'd get to the clinch, and Fiziev would spam knees to the clinch. Did a good job of throwing those knees, but his defense coming out of the clinch was terrible. It was every time it was, they're in the clinch, Gaethje big right hand over the top on the way out of the clinch. They get in the clinch, he lands a knee, Gaethje big right hand on the way out of the clinch. Then he gets up close, and, like, Rafa's, like, looking to land an uppercut because he's seeing Gaethje is dipping his head, so he goes in looking to throw the uppercut. He goes to throw the uppercut, Gaethje throws first and lands harder and better, and he just sits down Rafael Fiziev, almost knocked him out cold. I thought we almost saw a knockout there. But he ends up doing a great job of, like, having a good north-south wrestling position. Not north-south, but, like, It's a good wrestling position. He's got the, like, arm and neck kind of tied up, where Fiziev can't really do much. It's just a good basic wrestling position, almost a sprawl position. And he's doing those classic where Gaethje lands those, like, shovel uppercuts and hooks underneath to keep the cobwebs in there for Fiziev, keep him hurt, land good damaging shots. And Gaethje also started throwing high kicks. Like, his high kicks are looking a lot better. Gaethje only threw 7 strikes to the leg. That's crazy. Crazy. These guys threw a combined 14 leg kicks, landed a combined 12. That's insane for these guys. I know that Fiziev usually throws more to the body, but Gaethje always mashes the leg. He wasn't finding in this fight. He was mixing, a lot more of those kicks up top. And he did a great job with it. Those kicks were landing. He had Fiziev wobbled at times with those high kicks. And then round 3 comes around and Gaethje's just continuing to put it on Fiziev, just looking a lot sharper. There were moments where Fiziev was landing good high kicks. Again, really good high kicks, then going to the body. But Fiziev looked like he was just fatigued at that point, and Gaethje was the one kind of pressing the action, landing the good shots, staying technical but landing powerful. It was a great performance from Gaethje. He's back. Now, one thing I will say, love Justin Gaethje. He wants a title fight. I think he loses to Islam in a round. I just don't think listen, Fiziev took him down. I know it was unexpected, but like the way Gaethje was getting back up, he's got no jiu-jitsu. I just think Islam's going to get him to the ground and sub him. I also think Islam does a really good job of setting up his high kick, his lead left high kick. And if he sees Justin Gaethje dipping like that, he's going to land the high kick like he did on Volkanovski. So I think there's a multiple paths to victory for Islam. Gaethje, I would love to see him in one more title fight, but I think he's got to get one more win before that. You'll see where I matchmake him in the video that comes out tomorrow in the matchmaking video. But respect to Rafael Fiziev for stepping up and taking this fight. This was not easy. Took it on short notice. Yes, he's training, but it looked like he took like a little break from training and then jumped back in for this fight once like the Gamrot fight didn't really... He just gassed out quicker than usual, and he looked a little more defeated than usual. He looked kind of defeated in there. I'm not used to seeing that from Fiziev, but what a performance from Gaethje, man. Great job. Great fight. One fight of the night. Don't know if it deserved it. That knockdown in round 2 was fucking sick, though. Awesome performance from Justin Gaethje. Moving on. Jalen Turner versus Ignacio Bahamondes. Finally, I went 0 for 2 on the main and the co-main, but we got the feature fight right here. Ignacio Bahamondes and Jalen Turner was a great fight while it was lasting. Really, really fun exchanges on the feet. Then it does get to the ground like a minute in. And Turner's got good top control. Pretty much, and he goes to immediately try and land an elbow. I love to see him go for damage right away. Goes to land an elbow right away. Hits a good one. And they're kind of just like stalled out there trying to like change the position. Ignacio Bahamondes does a good job of getting it to full guard. I did not know he had the jiu-jitsu skills that he actually did. I knew he kind of could grapple, but it was a really good pass to move back to full guard. And as Turner was trying to land some ground and pound occasionally, it would be Ignacio Bahamondes just spamming elbows. Looked like Tony Ferguson, dude. Honestly, he looked like Tony Ferguson landing a ton of elbows and landing a bunch of punches to the chin of Jalen Turner from the ground. It was great. It really was great. And then eventually, he just gets his triangle submission. Jalen Turner gets kind of stuck in that top position for a little too long. Ignacio Bahamondes ends up finding the triangle submission and gets it. Dude, Ignacio Bahamondes is a problem. This guy can strike. We know he can strike very, very well. Now he just got a great finish off of his back. Granted, I don't think it's a position that he should be thrilled to be in a lot, but if he's getting pull-off submissions like that, being 6'3", having the long limbs that he does, he's going to be a problem for people. 17-5 now, coming off a great round 1, back-to-back round 1 finishes against 2 tremendous finishers in Manuel Torres and Jalen Turner. Great submission win. He's got Bilal in his corner. Now, at the end of this, they were talking and Turner lost, and he was like, you could just see, I feel bad for Turner, man. Feel bad for him. He was visibly, like, defeated. Yeah, he was visibly upset, visibly defeated, and he's pretty much called it quits right there. Now, I'm pretty sure Ignacio was like, don't do that. And then Bilal came over to talk to him and be like, don't do that, think about it. His coaches are telling him to not think about it. The gloves did go down. He did kind of retire, but it seems as though people talked him out of it. That's what Ignacio or Dana White said in the post-fight press conference as well. We'll see what ends up happening with Jalen Turner. Hope he does continue to fight because he is very skilled, is very good. He's gone through Murderer's Row recently of like Gamrot, Hooker, Bahamondes, Moicano. It's like those are tough matchups, and he's a really good style to watch. Like he is a very aesthetic style to watch. I don't know if that's the right way to put that. It's kind of gay. Its fight style is very fun to watch, but it's coming off, 4 losses in a row now? I mean, I'm sure he's feeling it. I'm sure he's a little upset with himself. But you know what? Just take some time, get back in there. Honestly, it might be better for him to get in there and get a quick win over, like, an up-and-coming guy. Not a Ferez, someone a little bit easier, but, like, go out there, get a couple wins, and then you start getting the momentum back. You start getting the love for the game back. If he gets to 17-9, rattles off 3 wins in a row, all finishes, he's going to be feeling good about himself, getting back in there. Give him a couple layups. He's going to need, he needs it. Jalen Turner, Ignacio Bahamondes, great fight for as long as it lasted. Great strike. These guys are fast in the striking, and then they get to the grappling, and Ignacio Bahamondes has a submission game. Yasmin Lucindo versus Amanda Lemos. We're not going to give this fight any more time than it needs. 29-28. Lemos controlled the grappling in rounds 1 and 2. Lucindo did in round 3. Terrible, terrible fight. Slowed down the whole momentum of the card. Disgrace. Absolute disgrace of a performance. We're going to leave it at that. This was fucking terrible. This is why, dude, happy International Women's Day, right? This is what you get. You put it on fucking the pay-per-view, and this is what they do. This is a pay-per-view fight. You should add Van Soroya on here. We all knew that, but keep appeasing the fucking woke crowd, all right? Fucking stupid. Amanda Lemos and Yasmin Lucindo, disgraceful performance. Fuck them, dude. Mauricio Ruffy versus Bobby Green. My goodness. I'm not calling him King Green. This was the KO of the year. And I don't know if anything's going to beat it. So, round 1's going. Bobby Green's throwing a couple, like, stabbing kicks to the leg. Not really landing them. Landed 2 of them, as you see here. 2, like, stabbing kicks to the leg, almost oblique type kicks where he's jumping in. Lands a teep kick. Lands 1 punch up top. And Mauricio Ruffy's kind of just stalking him, haunting him down. Lands like a jab at one point, and then throws a straight 2 down the middle that, like, sends Green to the back of the cage, and you're like, oh my god, he hurt him just immediately. Like, he just touched him and he got hurt. You're waiting for Ruffy, and then all of a sudden, Ruffy throws the hook. 2 miss. Sets up with a hook to get Bobby Green to kind of like slip and spins. Lands a 6 spin kick off of that fake hook and just flatlines Bobby Green. Stands over him like an absolute Chad. This guy's Conor McGregor 2.0. Dude. You can't. Conor McGregor started his career with a round 1 KO in the UFC. Highly touted guy, by the way, just like Mauricio Ruffy was. Started his career with a round 1 KO in the UFC. Then he went, just like Mauricio Ruffy did over Jamie Mullarkey. Then McGregor fought Max Holloway in what was kind of a stinker decision that he won, but it was kind of a stinker. Mauricio Ruffy's fight was actually a good fight, but he went to a decision that was a little underwhelming against James Lontop. A cardio guy, tough chin, just like McGregor. Like, had his fight with Holloway, cardio guy with tough chin. Then McGregor followed up with a round 1 KO over a vet just outside the rankings. Okay, Bobby Green, vet, just outside the rankings, ton of fights. Mauricio Ruffy sleeps him in round 1. You know what McGregor's next fight was? Dustin Poirier. So I'm thinking Mauricio Ruffy gets his shot at the rankings. Like, you keep him on the McGregor path. This guy fights just like him. Same type of stance. Throws that wheel kick just like McGregor throws it. Throws the straight 2, fast, powerful, just like McGregor does. This guy's literally prime McGregor reincarnated. I'm so excited to watch him fight and his career continue. Knockout of the year for Mauricio Ruffy. That kick is so nasty. Left hook, spin, kick, boom, right on the chin, done. KO'd Bobby Green. What a performance from Mauricio Ruffy. Got a performance bonus. Absolutely sick fight. Was so pleased. That was fucking awesome. Moving on. Joshua Van versus Ray Soroya. This fight was pretty much how we said it was going to go. I actually thought Joshua Van was going to end up getting a finish. Would have liked to seen him throw a couple more shots to the body because I think he could have gotten Ray Soroya out of there if he did. But at the end of the day, like, he did his job. He went out there, stuffed all the takedowns. Ray Soroya went 4 of 21 on takedowns, and he did get a sick arm throw. He got the arm of Joshua Van and just chopped him over him, ended up getting good position. Joshua Van has insane. This guy has, first of all, Joshua Van's takedown defense is insane. And his get-ups are absolutely insane. This guy would be in bad positions on the ground and find a way to get back up. It was nuts. Didn't matter. Ray Soroya could not hold him down. His takedown defense was also sick. 4 of 21 on takedowns for Soroya. Yeah, great job, Joshua Van. The arm throw was something that was just special to see, though, from Ray Soroya. I will say that. But Soroya doesn't have much strength. He's very technical, and he's got to have like tricky kinds of takedowns in order to get Josh Van down. Now, Josh Van has one of the better sprawls at flyweight. Gets to the ground super quick. He's small, so he is hard to take down. He's got really good underhooks. But Soroya was kind of just using his upper body for the takedowns. But what you see in this fight is Soroya has literally no striking. 0 striking. He's super hittable. Dude, his chin's right there to be hit the whole time, and Joshua Van was able to find it with pretty much every shot he wanted to. Look at the accuracy, dude. 127 of 129. 39 of 74 to the head. 19 of 22 to the body. Over 50%. Almost 100%. Was 100%. Those teep kicks were landing really nice for Joshua Van. The body shots that he would throw at the end of round 3 were landing really nice. The shots he was throwing up top was spinning Ray Soroya's head back. He was being very measured with his approach, knowing there is a takedown threat. This guy can submit people, but he wasn't getting Joshua Van tonight. Tremendous performance from Joshua Van. Ray Soroya's got a lot to work on. His grappling's kind of good. But, like, if you can't control Joshua Van on the ground, you're going to struggle. Like, granted, Joshua Van's better than a lot of these other guys in the flyweight division with a takedown defense. And this is a dude that's super active. We love Joshua Van. Mini Max Holloway, baby. We love Joshua Van, dude. His fight style's awesome. He's improving every fight. He's super active. This kid's 23 years old, deserves to be ranked. I don't know why he's not. He will be ranked after this win. He'll be over Charles Johnson, I think. Even though Charles Johnson beat him, it's just Charles Johnson just lost to Temirov. Joshua Van has won every fight since then. I think 3 since then. It was Shirez, Durden, Soroya. It was a damn good win. So Joshua Van's going to get in the rankings, I believe. And this guy has a ton of sick matchups coming up for him. I mean, his striking is unbelievable. His takedown defense is unbelievable. He's super active. He's a tough dude. This was a great fight. Joshua Van, tremendous win. Tremendous performance. Bruno Ferreira. I did not expect submission in this fight. I'm going to be real. This was one of those where, like, Armen Petrosyan was staying at range, landing the kicks pretty well, threw 2 nut shots, and they happened back-to-back. Mark Smith took a point. I like that. I think it was the right decision. Listen, when you're coming off a week where there was an eye poke in the main event, again, that kind of led to a finish, even though Kopp was already beating Alsuan Levaev's ass. Then you come to another point where the week before that was a main event eye poke. We all know about Cejudo and Song Yadong. Again, Song Yadong was beating his ass, but Cejudo did get poked pretty gnarly in the eye. Caused him inability to see. People are going to be mad at that. I don't know, dude. Just relax. It's not that big a deal. I get it. You have to be strict with the point taking, especially if it's going to be changing the outcome of fights. Those 2 nut shots were gnarly. The first one was like kind of hit both legs and ended up touching the cup. Second one was nasty. Right square. Just hit him square. Petrosyan in round 1 was like having moments where he was able to walk down, land kicks, go especially to the body. But you see he's struggling with the punches because of that short reach, which is one of those things that I was talking about. And Bruno Ferreira was actually able to land some good shots. I think the first round was 9-9. Petrosyan won it. Round 2, Bruno Ferreira starts putting the gas on a little bit. Again, he's looking tired in round 2. But he starts marching forward a little bit, landing good or not even overhands. He would throw a left hand, step through with the right, and land on Petrosyan. And he did a lot better job switching stances in this fight. He was landing okay. A couple of the shots that he was landing were hurting Petrosyan, but he wasn't super accurate. Would mix up, go to the body. But then he goes in, gets the takedowns, had a couple of good entries on the takedowns, was able to like bull forward. He did kind of just leave his head there to be kneed, but I think he knew that Petrosian wasn't really reading that. And he did just kind of bull over Petrosian to get the takedown. Goes over the top of Armand Petrosian, but actually gets the sub, gets a nasty armbar triangle. So he locks up the triangle a little bit. Petrosian is starting to slip out, but Bruno Ferreira keeps 2-on-1 wrist, 2-on-1 on the arm, and just almost breaks the arm of Armand Petrosian. Just absolutely puts him in a great armbar position. Gets the submission in round 2. Great win from Bruno Ferreira. Matty Betts is probably pissed. Matty Betts, I don't know if you follow him, it's good betting content, but he did a cycle parlay. It was Ferreira by sub, which was like plus 900. So when that hit, you're like, oh my God, the next one's Ruffy by KO. That's definitely happening. Ruffy gets his KO. And then it's the women's fight to go to decision. He picked Yasmin Lucindo, though, so that's what was wrong. And it sucks, dude. Yasmin Lucindo sold that for him, but what a shit fight that was. Great win from Bruno Ferreira. Alex Morono versus Carlos Leal. This was a murder. This was an absolute execution that we saw. Kudos to Carlos Leal, first of all, for a great performance. But I meant Alex Morono. This dude knew he was getting his ass whooped. Was throwing. He has no power in there, but he is throwing. He is trying to end the fight. He's standing in there getting tagged, and he is still throwing. There were moments where Carlos Leal was getting tagged, but you could see it was doing nothing to him. He had zero respect for the power of Alex Morono. And he was just landing heavy hooks. Clinch elbows were great. They were swinging. It was sick for while it lasted. Great mouth guard. Jesus mouth guard. Great guy. But the first 2 minutes of this fight I want to talk about, they were talking about Joaquin Buckley the entire time. The entire time, the first 2.5 minutes of this fight, they were talking about Joaquin Buckley. Morono went to a decision with Buckley, man. Not a lot of people at welterweight can do that. Did you know Buckley was going to get the title fight against Bilal almost? And they ended up going with JDM? Man, Buckley's an animal. Wow, welterweight. And meanwhile, these guys are absolutely slinging haymakers at each other. In one round, Carlos Leal threw 120 strikes. 79 significant landed. Morono was swinging back, throwing big hooks, landing. But he couldn't get Leal off him. There was just a massive power difference, a massive athleticism difference. And, dude, Morono was tough. He's gritty. But Leal, what a win. Great knockout. This guy's kind of a problem, dude. He's going to be very interesting to watch out for in this division. But we're going to move on to the last 2 fights. Myron Santos, Francis Marshall. I think this was a brutal robbery. I know Guru's going out there going, oh, dude, the fucking strikes, dude, the strike. He put out a tweet. He's like, look at the strike numbers. Look at the strike numbers. You know, the same guy that always goes, dude, the strike numbers, they literally openly lie about. They openly lie about these strike numbers. They do. They put up the wrong numbers all the time. They don't count them right. Round 1, Francis Marshall clearly wins. They're pretty back and forth, close on the feet. Myron Santos is doing a very good job of landing a lot of those low kicks. Francis Marshall landed a great low kick in the first round. Myron Santos kind of got him back with a good one that took him off his feet. And then Francis Marshall has a great right hand step through left hook and just sits down Myron Santos. Wins the first round, gets good control time there. Round 2 comes around. I thought they were pretty tit for tat on the strikes. Pretty even. Myron Santos maybe got the better of the exchange. A couple of the exchanges. Francis Marshall gets a takedown. Doesn't do anything with it. Initially, I scored it for Francis Marshall. Watching it back, I do think round 2 is Myron Santos's. But round 3, I thought was pretty clear Francis Marshall. They were pretty even on the feet. Francis Marshall landed a great straight right hand that hurt Myron Santos a little bit, that caught his attention. Santos was landing some good shots as well, but Francis Marshall would kind of get him back. Every time Santos would go forward, Francis Marshall in the third round would start to disrupt him with his own combinations. And then he lands a beautifully executed, perfectly timed takedown and gets control time for the rest of the round. For the last minute of round 3, I thought that was enough to win the fight. You would have given it to fucking anyone, any Daga. If Ankalaev did that to Pereira, everyone would have been saying clear win Ankalaev, which it was a clear win Ankalaev anyway. But if any Dagestani does that, everyone's like clear win. And a lot of people fairly thought that Francis Marshall win. A lot of people were calling this a robbery, and I do think this was an absolute robbery. Francis Marshall won that fight, I thought, but they're going to protect their prospect. I like Myron Santos a lot, too. I think he's a very, very good fighter, highly touted, from Tough. But you know the UFC is going to protect their guys from Tough because they want to keep the show going, not make it seem like the guys on Tough are shit. They did the same thing with Bryan Battle against Randy Brown, even though I do kind of think Bryan Battle won that fight. I'm just going to say that, but might not be a popular opinion, but I do think so. But Myron Santos, he's very good. I just think Francis Marshall won this one, man. I really do. We're going to move on to the fight of the night, which was the first fight. Jordan Santos versus Ozzy Diaz. A lot of people saying that this was a robbery. Oh, it was Jordan Santos. I don't think so. I think this was an incredibly close fight. I think round one goes to Jordan Santos. It was a little bit slower in round one. But round two, these guys start picking up. And they're throwing jabs, jab rights. And they just pitter-patter punch, throw at each other the entire time. But it was a ton of fun. These guys are throwing a ton of volume, ton of output, landing. Defense was optional in this fight. 100% defense was absolutely optional in this fight. Santos can eat fucking punches. What a scrap, dude. My goodness. Santos was eating some shots and would just zombie walk forward, start throwing. And he would look to start to get tired, then zombie walk forward, start throwing. One of the things that I thought would have worked a lot better for Ozzy Diaz is if he kept clinching and throwing those body knees. Because that's every time he would clinch, throw a body knee, you would see that Jordan Santos would get, he would get hurt. He was truly getting hurt, tired. And then he can follow up with those big punches, 1-2s, 1-2s. I think it was the right decision. I think a little bit more body work from Ozzy Diaz would have been better. I thought Ozzy Diaz won rounds 2 and 3. Jordan Santos kind of just kept emoting. He did. Round 3 was definitely Ozzy Diaz. Was putting a crazy pace on him and pressure in the third round. It kind of broke him. Round 2 I thought was Ozzy Diaz too. A lot of people don't agree, but it is what it is. What a great night of fights. The main event really fucking put a damper on it, and so did the Lucindo fight. But hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. I just remember that the main event, Onk's the champ again. God damn it. Yuri, save us.